how to find wealth. Well, there are a lot of different techniques, astrological, and indications which can indicate abundance and financial opportunities, but I'm going to give you one of the more easy ones to find out that everyone without any astrological knowledge can check for them. And these are based on fixed stars, it doesn't mean if you don't have any of those fixed stars prominent in your horoscope, you will not have abundance and financial wealth, not at all, because you might have other combinations which bring this wealth. But usually if you have one of those, or one or two, or sometimes even three of those fixed stars on prominent key positions in your horoscope, you are definitely more likely to have way above average wealth, maybe to become millionaires, so to become quite well off, to have a well better than the average people, because the fixed stars, the ancient soul, when they were looking at the skies, they noticed that certain stars emit this influence of abundance and financial abundance. I'm not talking knowledge abundance and wealth, or wealth of friendships. I'm talking the real hardcore thing, you know, the cash, the material resources. And they notice that when they're prominent in the horoscope, the person is given opportunities and the resources and the right conditions in this life to make way above average wealth, to experience wealth in their life. Whether the person does it, it's up to them, but when you have all the resources available, it's usually the person tends to go for it, you know, if it's their fate kind of thing, to experience wealth. And again, I want to remind you, don't get desperate if you don't see these stars in your horoscope. There are other combinations can bring financial success, but if you have those stars, for sure, even if you're now dirt poor, living on the street and drinking out beer cans and begging for money, if you have one of those stars, something will twist and turn in your life and you'll be given the opportunity for financial abundance. And what is first most important, you need to know your time of your birth within at least 10-15 minutes correctly. And then go to the link I'm giving you to the birth chart calculator in my website, astrolada.com, enter your details, place of birth, you know, and everything, and you'll get a chart like that with a table below it. You'll see the table. We'll look at the table this time mostly. And I want you to check where your sun, moon, and ascendant are. You see them, sun, moon, ascendant, opposite them shows the degree and the sign they're situated in your horoscope when you were born, in the sky where they were when you were born. And I want you also to check the degree and the sign of your 10th house cusp, which is the highest position in the horoscope, the most visible, which indicates your career, what you succeed most in life. So if you have the 10th house cusp, again, in one of those degrees I will give you, you will very likely, not very likely, for sure, you'll have an opportunity in this life for wealth and abundance more than average. And having one or two or more of those stars is fantastic. Even one sometimes can bring you the wealth. Well, it's not going to bring you the wealth, but it will give you the right circumstances to make it, or to place it on your path. And what you do out of it, it's up to you. But it's part of your fate, basically. So now, the sun, moon, ascendant, and 10th house cusp, all the lord of the first house, the ascendant lord. Those of you who know a little bit more astrology, they know how to find the ascendant lord. This is the planet that rules the first house, that rules the ascendant. Say if your ascendant is in Pisces, Jupiter will be ascendant lord. If your ascendant is in Cancer, moon will be ascendant lord. There are 7 planets that rule the different signs. So if Lord 1, if it's in one of the following degrees where there are fixed stars, so basically there are a few stars of wealth. The first one of them is regal. They're not going to be written with name on my chart, but if you see the degree, when you know the degree, you can check if the sun, moon, ascendant, the 10th house cusp of the first lord is close within 3 to 4 degrees on each side from that degree that I'm giving you. So, say the first one is, let me just give myself some space here. The first one is regal, which is situated at around 16, 17 degrees in Gemini. So, if you notice that your 10th house cusp is within 16, 17 degrees of Gemini, well, there is an opportunity for you for wealth, in this lifetime. My boyfriend has that, yay! So, I don't have those stars, but And so if you say you have your sun at 14 Gemini, it will show 14 degrees 25 minutes Gemini, or 16. The closer it is to the exact degree, the more of a chance you have, you know. Or if you have your moon at 19 degrees in Gemini, for instance, or if you have your ascendant at 15 degrees in Gemini, you know, 2-3 degrees before, 3 to 4 degrees before and after this particular degree of Gemini. If you have Sun, Moon, Ascendant, 10th house, or Lord, the 1st house, this is wealth planet, this is regal. The next wealth planet is Algol, which is at 25 degrees in Taurus. So if you see Sun, Moon, or Ascendant at about 25 or 10th house cusp, which is indicated in my chart, I think like that, with the 10th Roman numerical, and opposite you see the degree that this 10th house cusp is placed at. So if you see, say, within 27 degrees Taurus, 28 degrees, 25, 24, 23 degrees Taurus, those 4 important points, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, 1st house, 10th house Lord, 10th house cusp, and 1st house Lord, within those degrees, again, it's a wealth, it's a planet, it's a fixed star, it's called Algol, which brings wealth, but it also, whenever this star, it's very malefic as well, it brings wealth with a lot of complications as well, and with a lot of drama as well. So it's not the ultimate, but it will still bring wealth. Lindsay Lohan has her moon there, and she's a right mess, because, you know, it can bring a lot of emotional ups and downs with that wealth, or kind of like almost, not a curse, but more testings there with the wealth. So the next one, so regal, Algol we have. The next star which can bring you wealth is Rukbat, it's called, and it's at 16 degrees in Capricorn. So if you see, for instance, you have Sun at 14 Capricorn, Moon or Ascendant at 15, 16, 17, 18 Capricorn, you're very close to the star Rukbat, which again brings wealth. Then the next one is Capella, which is at 21, 22 degrees in Gemini again. Gemini tends to, you know, that sphere of the sky tends to have a bit more wealth, you know, generating, not planets, stars. These are fixed stars. And within, say, if you say within 2-3 degrees of 21 and 22 degrees, the Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or 10th house cusp in Gemini, again, wealth generating planets above average, you know, financial successes. Then there is another one, so this is Rukbat, we have Capella, Regal, Algol, 25 Taurus, and another 2 stars that tend to bring way above average wealth. Sorry, I'm putting them here because I don't have space, but you'll see them on the little table below, those degrees, not the names of the stars, you know. And another star which tends to bring wealth is Aldebaran, which is at about 9-10 degrees in Gemini. Yes, oh my God. Again, Gemini. So, you know, people who, and actually it's been proven statistically that some of the richest people have Gemini in their horoscope nowadays, because in 2000 years, those fixed stars will move into the sign of Taurus, into the sign of Cancer. But for now, they are fixed into the sign of Gemini. So around 9 and 10 degrees of Gemini, Aldebaran is the star. It's very powerful, one of the royal stars, one of the stars which brings not only wealth, but it can bring a very important role and luck as well. It's a very fortunate star, Aldebaran. It brings luck and wealth at the same time. Very, very positive star. It's the eye of the bull, in the constellation of the bull, but in the sign of Gemini. So say if you have planets, say if you have your Sun at 8 or 7 degrees in Gemini, or 9 or 10 or 11 or 12, even up to 13 almost, you know, this is wealth-giving, again, combination with the Ascendant or the Moon or the 10th house cusp, you know, all of those four things that I gave you initially. One thing I just want to, and another one is the star Fomalhaut. Fomalhaut, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but it's at around 3 to 4 degrees in Pisces. It's going to be written like that. 3-4 degrees in Pisces, in the sign of Pisces. So you have the Sun, For instance, in 2 degrees in Pisces, or the moon at 5 or 3 or 4, the ascendant at those degrees, again, you can generate more than enough wealth in your life. And usually this wealth is connected to some creative pursuits, usually because Fomalhaut is more spiritual, more literary star, more refined star, which gives talent, musical, literary, you know, anything creative. Tends to be like writing, you know. It's not always necessarily, or maybe involved with business, connected to more literally and more artistic endeavors, but it's not always, you know, but it tends to be. If you have this star prominent at 3-4 degrees of Sun, Moon, Ascendant, Lord, or the 10th house cast, people tend to be more refined, almost like more spiritual, more gifted, talented, artistically people, and they can generate wealth through that. So any of those stars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we have about 6 fixed stars within 3 or 4 degrees of the exact degree that I'm giving. If you have the important points, wealth, it will be generated. But I want to warn you something as well. Especially with the very powerful stars like Aldebaran at 9-10 degrees Gemini, as Fomalhaut at 3-4 degree Pisces, also with, you know, they give a great potential for wealth and for other achievements as well. But if you do not, if you use it selfishly, this potential, because they tap into very highly spiritual energies, and like the stars and the angels are radiating to you great talents for manifesting on earth and for creating wealth, and for, but if you use them selfishly, often there will be a big fall from heights. So if someone amassed a great wealth from oil, but it's kind of blood diamonds, or even, you know, porn industry or something in some way that is hurtful for others, these people have a really high fall from a high, because these especially Aldebaran at 9-10 degrees and Fomalhaut, you know, and Algol as well, they'll give you a lot, but if you do not use it in accordance to the spiritual laws for helping others as well, for contributing to society, if you use it just for selfish reasons, you have this wealth for a little bit, but there'll be a big fault, because they carry a lot of it's like when God gives a lot, He expects a lot, and these stars tend to give a lot. So thank you so much. This is one of the ways to see wealth in your horoscope. Maybe I'll teach you later on other ways, but if you have this, you can be above average for sure. Thank you.